How are you all doing? Welcome to another lesson. I'm recording this much later than usual, so I'm kind of tired, but I'm excited to get started with this lesson. So let's get into it. Today we're going to be looking at the subordinate sequential suffix. What exactly is a sequential suffix? Well, basically, it indicates a sequence of actions, okay? It is a suffix that is attached to one verb, and that verb that it is attached to occurs before another action or other actions that are also mentioned in that sentence or in that phrase. So as always, I have a lot of examples, and let's get right into it, because with examples, it begins to make a lot more sense. So first, ne unoyaruasi de ga. That means after talking with him or her, I ate. So this verb yarua means to talk or to speak. And notice it has the si suffix. That means, or that indicates, that the speaking occurs first, and then duka, the eating. You could also translate it like this: having talked with him or her, I ate. So there are multiple ways to translate these kinds of sentences that have si suffixed to the verb. But basically, you just want to understand it as meaning that the verb that it is attached to, again, that action, whatever it is, occurs first or prior to whatever comes next. So let's look at more examples. Sigupi ohakwitasi damit devagaku means after the rabbit brush turns yellow, we'll go get pine nuts. So sigupi is rabbit brush. Ohakwitasi means yellow. And it means basically after it becomes yellow, damituagaku, we will go get pine nuts. This says usamakusi nimitavituka. After she or he finished cooking, we ate. So sa means to cook. Maku is to finish. So finish cooking. And then si, again, this means that's what occurs first. Finish cooking, and then we eat. Tunovikwe pitugasi yeshi tupiguba udugu utsoho means after he arrives to his house, he then put it on a rock and crushed it. That's part of a story. Okay, so after he arrived, pitugasi, he arrived. That occurs first. Then he put it on a rock and crushed it. Here's a story from Harold Miller from Walker River. It says, Tubua puikuhuka utugubatu owanehusi. This says he carried away his friend's eye after his friend threw it above. Notice the verb wanehusi at the bottom here with the si suffix. It occurs way at the end. The previous examples, the si verb occurred first. Even still though, even though it occurs later or after, it still occurs first in the sequence. So after he threw it above, there's this, he threw it above, his owl threw his eye up into the air, and then his friend came afterwards and carried it away. Una katupitugasi, una or tunatunituina sumai. It says he sat down and remembered his teaching. So in this case, you could translate it after he sat down, he then remembered his teaching, or having sat down, he remembered teaching his, or he remembered his teaching. But in this case, I figured you don't really need it, because in English, when you say he sat down and then remembered his teaching, it's understood, it's implicitly understood that sitting down takes place first, and then they're remembering. So he sat down first and then remembered. Here's another one that's a little bit different. It says usuhutsi pikugas or pukugasi iwa pukurua. Means he had just a few horses, then his horses became many. So this one would be strange to say after he had just a few horses, his horses became many or something like that. So it sounds better just he had just a few horses previously or prior, then his horses became many. So how you exactly translate these kind of sentences, I mean, there could be various ways to do so, but the important thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure it's just clear that whatever verb has the C suffix, that's the one that occurs before whatever comes next. Here's another one. Would not mi managasi yeshi usu kaimani. So would not mi managasi, that means after designing for a while, and he was designing constellations, stars. After doing that for a while, yeshi usu kaimani, then he got tired. Here's one where you have actually multiple verbs that have the C suffix. First, uwipanishi, yodzikishi, yeshimi. Says after sleeping, he got up and then he said. So after sleeping is what comes first. Then yodzikishi, he got up. Then, in order of sequence, mi, he said something. So you can have these C suffixes that occur multiple times. And again, that just indicates a sequence. Kamago otsapunishi, yeshi mupatuzuba yubikasi, paakwe atahu. Here's another one that has two verbs with the C suffix. It indicates, again, sequence. First, after peeking tsapunishi into the bag, the stars escaped. Yubikasi, they escaped. Then, finally, paakwe atahu, they settled up above. That is a story by Ralph Burns about the creation, kind of designing of the stars and constellations. Let's look at how this suffix is used now in commands. Got a couple examples here. First, kimasi mudukana. That's a way of just saying come and eat when you're indicating plural people. Kimasi. So come, that kima means come. In English, you just say come and eat. And logically, it's understood that you first have to come and then you eat. But in Paiute, it's clear. Kimasi. Si indicates that the coming comes first. The coming precedes the eating. Another one says, Kapamagatsa mayusi unumua mawongi. This is a command again. Find a horned toad and rub its belly. So in Paiute, that's what it is. Find a horned toad, rub its belly. But because of the C suffix, it kind of indicates progression. You first find and then you rub its belly. Let's see this in conditional sentences. Conditional sentences are if-then sentences. So if one thing occurs, that's the condition, then something else will happen as a result. So first example, Nekopi'i iwahibishi kai uwi. That means if I drink a lot of coffee, I can't or don't or won't sleep. Okay, you could translate this as after drinking a lot of coffee, I can't, won't, or don't sleep. But this one does have the sense of a condition. Okay, if I drink a lot of coffee, kopi'i iwahibishi kai uwi, then I can't sleep or I won't sleep. Here's another from a story. Usa ishiriusi wi irua. That means you might, if I blow my nose, fall off. You might fall off if I blow my nose. So again, there's a progression or a sequence. I blow my nose, and as a consequence, afterwards, you're going to fall off. Possibly. Here's one I got from McDermott. It's Ishurukwaku Katsagurma Yuna Ursu Icy. Means it will snowstorm if you laugh at the porcupine. So again, suai, that verb laugh with C indicates it occurs first. You laugh, and then it's gonna snowstorm. A couple examples, or a few examples of how it is used to indicate cause. Okay, cause. Bija numapuni katamanosi. It feels good because it is spring. So katamanosi means it is spring, and that is what occurred first, and because of that, it feels good. Here's another one. Su isha ka iza manena supiraquatusi means since the wolf knew what the coyote did, or you could translate it like this: the wolf, knowing what the coyote did, or another way to translate it is the wolf, because he knew what the coyote did. So again, this just indicates that it occurred first. The wolf knew what the coyote did, and therefore what happens next follows. It follows what occurred first, the knowing. Usu iwa moni igamani, owa moni imayushi. He became rich because he found gold, which is literally owa moni, means yellow money. Another way to translate that is he became rich by finding gold. So owa moni imayushi, he found gold. That's what occurred first. Then he became rich. Usutumagaku umanigakusi gai no tuhuawaiga means because she's going shopping, she isn't going hunting with me. So again, this is causal, the reason why. So because she's going shopping, she isn't going hunting with me. Now this next one is kind of a bit tricky. It's a little bit different, but still very similar. Desiderative, I'm not even sure how to pronounce this word, or inceptive. Desiderative means it involves wanting or wishing. You will for something to happen. Inceptive meaning about to do something. So, kusi. It is this what you see here, kusi. Now that definitely seems to be a combination of both ku as well as si. Ku, the ku suffix, is something that is oftentimes used to indicate the future tense. It's something that is unrealized. It's something that is in the future, possibly, not for sure, but something that is possibly going to happen in the future. And of course, si indicating sequential action. So let's look at the first example. First example is actually what we just saw previously in the causal example. Because she's going shopping with me, she can't go hunting with me. But if we translate it more in this other sense, it could be translated like this. Oops. She intends or wants to go shopping, and so she's not going hunting with me. So this kusi, again, indicates a wanting, intention, desire. She's intending to go shopping. Therefore, she's not going hunting with me. Another one. Nu taunaway to kima Tukabatamukusi. I came to town in order to buy bread. So this kusi again indicates kind of a intention. I'm intending to buy bread. That's what comes first, my intention, and then therefore I came to town. You could say it like this: I came to town having wanted to buy bread. So again, my want, my desire, my intention occurs first. Therefore, I came to town. I came to town in order to buy bread. Another is nidagakusi upiru, means you arrived just as we were about to eat. So we were about to eat. Again, this one clearly with this ku suffix indicating like a future. That's what was about to take place. That's what's known as the inceptive. I'm about to do something. We're about to eat just as you arrived. You upiru. So you arrived just as we were about to eat. A little tricky, but still kind of has that sense of sequential action a little bit. Another is here, nudagakusi, nuyagaku tiayan, means I'll desire or intend, try to eat, but I will cry being hungry. So alone, that first phrase, nudagakusi, it almost can seem like I will eat. I am going to eat. But this bottom phrase, very much makes it clear that he didn't actually eat, because he says, I'm going to cry with hunger. And so that kind of makes it clear that this kusi suffix in this case, in this context, indicates desire or intention. He's going to try to eat, but he's going to fail. Therefore, afterwards, sequentially, he's going to cry because his hunger is going to remain. Manu Sapa. That is all. That is the end. I hope that made sense. I hope that made it clear. Just again, si suffix indicates sequential action, and it can indicate a condition, can indicate cause, can indicate desire, intention, wish, hope. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I hope this helps you out in your own studies. As always, continue learning, continue hearing and listening and getting an intake in these kinds of examples in use. And that's how you're going to begin to make sense of it a lot more and understanding it. So again, feel free to ask me whatever questions you have. Until next time, punirua. See you later.